Good morning, AYS. What is happening? What is happening, AYS, on this Saturday morning that we have college football? Good to be back. It's good to be back with some non-technical issues. That's for damn sure. As you can see, we have a new camera. All right, just making sure we're all good and that you guys could hear me. But we are 1 week away from college football, or LSU football, rather, starting back. Hopefully, everybody's able to stay safe. Guys, I know that this time is a little unprecedented. Just take care of yourself, take care of your families. We are praying for everyone that is out there. We are praying for everybody. Guys, it stinks. So, I don't know if we're going to be able to go, do shows with everything that's going on here. But regardless, everybody stay safe. And we got college football today, so that's what we're going to talk about. Anything and everything that you guys need and help with, we will be there. I ask prayers for myself and my family as we are just east of Baton Rouge. So we're looking for, hopefully we're able to stay safe and, it's not as bad as everybody's anticipating. But let's get to the comments. We do got a good show in store for you this morning. College football, UCLA versus Hawaii at 2:30. Illinois is taking on Nebraska. I think that's going to be a good one. What are some things I'm watching for UCLA? We'll get into some LSU recruiting news, some tidbits I picked up on last night. Also, we'll talk a little Arch Manning. We'll talk a little Arch Manning and Jacoby Matthews from last night, and we'll talk some LSU, some things I'm hearing. As always, guys, you can fire in your comments and your questions inside the chat as well. Fire in your questions and comments inside the chat, and do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the share button. Do me a favor, all 112 of you. Do me a favor now, if you're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, hit the retweet, hit the like, hit the share to your social media pages, share to some groups. We greatly appreciate it. Before we get to all the comments, let's do this. I got to mention my good friends over at betonline.ag. Guys, college football is here. College football is underway. So you got to get over there now and place your bets. LSU is 7 days away from taking on UCLA. Want to bet on the UCLA game today? Get over to betonline.ag today and do that. Use your mobile device. You'll get 50% off your first welcome bonus. That's betonline.ag. Betonline.ag. All right, let's get to these comments. Philip Rose says, good morning, Blake. Any news on Dwight McGlothern? Will he be at practice this week? Love the show. Yes, he will be at practice this week. I hear he's going to be ready to go. Logan says, still something to go off of, but I agree. Logan also says, looks great. Are you talking about the camera? Matt Gitter says, your picture looks a lot cleaner, Blake. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. We got the camera fixed. So I'm assuming the audio sounds a lot better too. Tony Weaver, what's up, Tony? Says Bossman Blake with the 4K, 1,000,000 megapixel camera. Hey man. Look, I told you guys that I ain't gonna put up with that shit now. Listen, I ain't gonna put up with it was only a matter of time. I was gonna wait until the new studio was underway, but I didn't have a choice. Lee Let's see. Daryl Fontenot, what's up, Daryl? Says, yeah, a little college football before riding out Ida and Livingston Parish, LOL. Ready to peep UCLA today. Yeah, I'll be technically in Livingston Parish. I'm just right outside of Hammond. Yeah, we will be riding it out here ourselves. We just got a generator a while back. Praying for myself and my wife, man, and I'm praying for you and yours. I mean, it's not going to, I know a lot of people. I've already talked to a couple people that have already evacuated. It's not going to be fun, bro. It's not going to be fun. The last time I went through something like this was Hurricane Katrina personally. Yeah, I don't want to. I say I don't want it to happen, but we don't really have a choice. Logan says, "Hope you and your family stay safe, Blake. We'll be sending you guys some prayers from Lake Charles." Yeah, and you guys just went through it, man. You guys just went through it, and it's not fun. Chris, what's up, Chris? Says, stay safe, Blake and crew. You too, my fan. You too. Shannon Williams says, good morning and stay safe. Yeah, I have a feeling that everybody's going to be, saying stay safe. I mean, it's not going to be fun. JLo 504 says, stay safe, Blake. Evacuated to Alabama. I'm thankful for football to distract me from this hurricane. Yeah, me too. One thing that today we all are going to be watching, hopefully, is UCLA and Hawaii. Guys, I want to see how good UCLA comes out on offense. I want to see how good UCLA comes out on offense. I want to see how their running game is. I want to see how physical their offensive line is. I mean, there's a lot of things that I want to see today at 2:30. A lot of things that I want to see. So regardless of how it goes down, I just, a lot of people have asked the question too, what would you rather, right? Like, what would you rather happen? Would you rather have a game in week 0 and then play the following week, or would you rather wait? I mean, guys, I kind of, I don't want, yeah, to the extent you would want to knock some rust off, but I mean, LSU's going to have a whole week to prepare for them, hopefully, but they, they're dealing with their own stuff. LSU's dealing with their own hurricane here. So, I mean, at what point do you sit here and say that, LSU's not going to be going through it? So, it's going to be definitely interesting to watch and see how, next week unfolds. And, that's a big, guys, look, it's a big thing. You're going to find LSU's going to show you very quickly how much leadership they have on this team. They're going to show you how very quickly how much leadership they have on this team, because, guys, they're about to go through something that hardly anybody in the country, from a football team perspective, has to go through, right? I mean, God, this camera does look good, doesn't it? This camera does look good, doesn't it? I ain't trying to brag. Aaron Adams says, finally able to catch a morning show. Let's go. Yes, sir. Michael Ray says, everyone will be back except Logan and Brennan. Yep, that's per Ed Orgeron. You want to stay the week healthy, man. You want to stay the week healthy. You last week, you don't want any, shenanigans. And look, LSU's going to go through a walkthrough scrimmage today, which they're not. This is going to be a walkthrough. Hopefully nobody, gets hurt in a walkthrough, for crying out loud. But, you never can I guess you can never really, undermine that. Chris says, if my house ends up looking like a lake, I'm coming over. All right, well, come over. I mean, look, I'm just telling you, man. I snore. No, I don't. I actually don't snore unless I'm congested, which I am congested. Jared Billy, what's up, Jared? Says, everyone don't drink all y'all hurricane beer too soon. Make it last. That's one thing that I've never really done, man. I never really drank during a hurricane. I always felt like, if some shit popped off, I needed to be in right mind. Like I needed to be in right focus and mindset. So it's one thing I've never really done. I know a lot of people do it, but it's just like I get so nervous, man, that I'm like, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. But I don't hate anybody else that does it. I mean, there's not a lot else we can do. Matt Gidry says, how loose do you think UCLA plays today, or do you think that they will stay conservative to save for LSU? I don't think UCLA has a choice, man. Honestly, I think that Chip Kelly has not won a non-conference game since he's been the head coach at UCLA. He better go out there and let it rip, right? Like, he better let it go out there and let it rip. I mean, he doesn't have a choice. I mean, so what you put it on film? My whole thing is with this whole put it on film scenario is that it makes your opponent have to game plan for more. I never understood the whole Les Miles. Well, you don't show it to them on film. That's the stupidest crap ever. They don't have a choice. Chip doesn't have a choice. So, at least that's my opinion. Blaine says, #Ask Blake, how much does it concern you that UCLA gets to play today and we'll be playing our first game next week? Not a lot. The only thing that worries me more is that LSU is going to be going through a hurricane. That worries me more than anything. It has nothing to do with playing. I mean, how are they going to get through it? I mean, that in and of itself is more worrisome to me than anything. I don't worry about, I'm not worried about the not playing and all that kind of stuff. I'm more worried about just navigating everything. And guys, if it gets bad around here, then what? Then you have your entire team without electricity for a week. Do they leave? It's not a good place to be in, man. It's not a good place to be in. Brian Williams says, hope you and your family stay safe. Also, anyone in the path of Ida, y'all stay safe. Prayers from Ocean Springs, Mississippi, coming up on the anniversary of Katrina for us. Yeah, was that tomorrow? Yeah, it's tomorrow. I mean, it looks like both of them will make landfall on August the 29th. Travis says, Jameis Winston's so pumped he probably going to be playing in the Ida rains. Maybe so. And he does seem very pumped up. That's for sure. Adam says, no Rudy Poo camera, no Mo. That's for sure. The other one was Rudy Poo, y'all. The other one was Rudy Poo. The only problem is that I can't get away with stuff I used to get away with, probably. Like combing my beard. Like I see that. I'm going to have to start combing my beard. I'm not going to be able to get away with the stuff I got away with, I used to get away with. Jawan says, UCLA not showing nothing today, vanilla offense. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think that Chip has a choice. He's got to win a non-conference game. He doesn't have a choice anymore. Gary Donovan says, #Ask Blake, with the coaches poll coming out, LSU had 7 players in the first and second team. Texas A&M had 5. Alabama had 11. So my question is how can A&M have so much love? I would say it's because the record that they had last year and because LSU has so much turnover on the coaching staff is the main reason why they're getting more love than LSU. It's the main reason why they're getting more love than LSU. And nobody has seen Durante Jones or Jake Peets call plays. So I guess the fact of that is at what point do you – I think that's more the reason why they get more love than anything. So at least that's what I think that their logic is. I mean, I don't know their logic, but I think that that's their logic. Guys, we're not going to go too long this morning. Philip Rose says, hey, Blake, when will Dellinger be back practicing? I think next week. I mean, that's per ed, man. It's per ed. Michael Ray says, each D end gets a sack next weekend. BJ, Dre, and Ali. Be huge. It'd be huge. If they're able to do that, it'd be amazing. Logan says, anyone see Ed O ripping his shirt off with Eli Manning? Dude is a legend. No, I didn't see that. Y'all gonna have to send that to me. Y'all gonna have to send that to me. Terry Hilton says UCLA loses to Hawaii. I don't think that they're gonna lose to Hawaii. I don't think that they're gonna lose to Hawaii. Gary says best well wishes from Shreveport. Michael Ray says, you show the film, but can you stop it? Basically, and you got more to scheme for. I mean, guys, if they run 50 different plays, that's 50 plays that you got to scheme up against. And then who's to say that they run those plays? It's a lot to study, a lot to go through. A lot to study and a lot to go through. Yeah, guys, we're not going to go too terribly long. Brian says, did I see that Trey Bradford is coming back? I've heard some rumors. I don't know if he's going to come back or not. I don't really understand why he would necessarily come back, I don't necessarily know why he would come back or if LSU would take him back. Josh says, morning from Savannah. Stay safe. Michael Ray says, hopefully they're looking at an alternate to relocate since we're a week ahead. I mean, they ain't no relocating now. Like where are they going to relocate? I mean, if you're talking about the game, I mean, UCLA is not going to relocate it. I mean, maybe with some of the contacts Ed has out in Los Angeles, maybe they can relocate and stay somewhere, but it ain't going to, there's no way. Henry says, Katrina hit on my 21st birthday. Tomorrow marks 16 years. Well, happy birthday, Henry, because we probably won't be talking to you. But happy birthday, my friend. Michael Ray firing him in there. He says, hashtag ask Blake, so who's the starting linebackers? I would say, if I was going to stay conservative, I'd say Clark and Baskerville. But I think Bug Strong might get in there too. I think Bug Strong might get in there too. So I really don't know. And I think that's one of the position groups. I think that's one of the position groups that you don't really know. I mean, whoever has a better week next week, I think is going to get the start. And it's kind of a lot like wide receiver. Like who's going to be the three that trot out there first? Does it really matter if a lot of the guys get a lot of playing time? I don't think it really matters. I don't think it really matters who starts. Speaking of wide receiver, I did hear that Brian Thomas was a little banged up. I did hear Brian Thomas Jr., the wide receiver from Walker's, a little banged up. All right, a couple more. Like I said, we're not going to stay too long. Get in and out about 20 minutes because I just got some stuff I got to do around the house. Mike Scarborough, TigerBay.com. Saw him last night at the Ponchatoula game. Ponchatoula Numa says, looking great, new camera and gear. Yeah, we're looking good, man. We're looking good. Yeah, the new camera really does look good. I'm calling it now. King Mo says, I'm calling it now. Miami plus 17. Sheesh. I don't know about that, y'all. King Mo, I don't know about that. I'd have to see that, Big Daddy. I'd have to see that. Ty Boudreaux says, what's up with Jacoby Matthews? Nothing. He looked great last night. He had Jacoby had a catch out in the flat last night, and he took it up the sidelines and scored. And let me tell you how bad this call was. They called a holding on Cody Finley. Guys, LSU fans remember TJ Finley. That's his little brother. They called a holding on him, and the back judge, so the play was around the 25, 30-yard line, and the back judge was at the back pylon and threw a flag from the back pylon all the way to the 30 and called a holding call. It's the craziest shit I'd ever seen. I'd have to ask Mike if he got an exclusive interview with Jacoby Matthews because I know he stayed around. Oh, and here he is here. Mike Scarborough said Jacoby Matthews. I got an exclusive interview with him last night, posting it this morning. There you go. There you go. I'm going to tell you something. This is, going. So if you didn't know, I went to the Newman Ponchatoula game last night. I thought Ponchatoula just, had more athletes. It wasn't even close, a 5A school versus a 2A school. I'm going to tell you this. This is my big takeaway from Newman and Ponchatoula. Number one, Arch Manning is that guy. He is that guy. Now, I'm not going to say he's better than Walker Howard, but he is that guy. He was there was a play last night, and I told Mike this. There was a play last night where he was under immense pressure. He didn't have a lot of his weapons. AJ Johnson was out, or he left. And he was on the 20, and when he was about to get hit on his back foot, launched that son of a gun 60 yards in the air because he had a receiver 60 yards away. I mean, the kid's got the talent, bro. The kid's got the talent. So he is that guy, right? Like, he is that guy. So don't let it fool you. He is that dude. So I don't want anybody talking no crap about him. Number two, Jacoby Matthews also is that dude. Their offensive coordinator from Ponchatoula last night, Trey Willie, told me that he thinks that if Jacoby Matthews played wide receiver, he'd be the best wide receiver in the state. And then after watching him last night and him catching a pass in the flat and taking it 30 yards to the house and outrunning everybody, I wouldn't doubt that at all. The kid can play. All right, a couple more, then we're going to get out of here. We're going to stay around the 30-minute mark, I think. Jason Austin says, #Ask Blake, what position group worries you the most? Seems like we are all loaded at every position except O-line. Guys, I've said it once. I've said it again. I'm not worried about the O-line. I think tight end worries me more than anything. I'd say tight end. I'd say I'm a little bit more worried at running back with your two older guys being banged up. I'm not worried about O-line. When Josh Williams, the walk-on running back, has 7 carries for 70 yards in a scrimmage, I mean, what part are you getting worried about the O-line for? Again, I've made this analogy a lot, but at what point do we start being realistic of what we saw last season? Anyway. Tyler Cormier says, #Ask Blake, how did Bo Borderline look last night? I thought he looked good. He moved inside. I thought he looked okay. Let me say that. He moved inside to guard. And his younger brother, I forget the younger brother's name, the other Borderline, who's a freshman. Now that kid's going to be a freaking stud. That the little brother, the other little Borderline kid, now that kid's going to be a freak. Let me give you my top 4 guys from last night. Arch Manning, Jacoby Matthews, wait for it, Cody Finley at 3. Now, Scarborough says that, and Scarborough's been doing this for a long time. Now, he says that he wants Cody Finley to put on some pounds and move to tight end. Shit. Here's the problem with what people do. And then I'd say the Borderline kid at 4. Cody Finley was a third. Cody Finley last night was the third best athlete on that field. Maybe not athlete, third best player. I don't know if you move him to tight end. I think he's got the body size where he can put on 20 or 30 pounds. But that 3-star ranking for Cody Finley is bullshit. I've seen it with my own eyes. Cody Finley ain't supposed to be no damn 3-star. I don't know if me and Mike are going to argue on that one. I'm sure we will. Cody Finley ain't no damn 3-star, bro. No. No way. No how. No, sir. The kid can flat out ball. If you take both, let me say this. There were kids last night, not talking about Borderline, I thought he did well. There were kids last night on that field that had LSU offers that have no business having an offer from LSU. None, zero, zilch, nada, none. Over Cody Finley. Zero. That kid can ball, y'all. That kid can flat out ball. Y'all keep sleeping on that kid now. And don't let this whole, well, his brother and TJ Finley and transfer and all that. Shit. You go after that kid. Hey, let me say this. I would take Cody Finley over some other people that are committed to LSU right now. Promise you. Michael Ray says, with the wide receivers, I'm guessing Ed will stay with more of a veteran guys than route towards the hot hands. Yeah, I think so. And like I said, I heard Brian Thomas is a little banged up. I hadn't confirmed that yet, but I hear he's a little banged up. Chad Briscoe says, hashtag Ask Blake, reading that Trey Bradford left the team in UK, rules allow him to come back and be eligible. Yeah. If he didn't have more than 14 practices with the team, though. Chad says, do you think that with our depth at running back, he would come back to the Tigers? No, I do not. No, I do not. All right, couple more. We're going to get out of here. Jason Austin sends us some stars on Facebook. Thank you, sir. Dylan Landry says, let's go. Brian says, what's up with the hating on Coach O? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know why these dudes hate on him. I don't know. I mean, and look, here's the funny thing. Ed confirmed what I've been telling you all season. Ed Orgeron told you and confirmed what I've been saying all offseason. Ed said this is the biggest game, the biggest season opener that he's ever had at LSU. It's because you got guys like Moscona, Jordy, excuse me. Yeah, guys, I'm not feeling so hot. Jordy Collada, Matt Moscona, and others saying that, fire Ed. So they're going to look for a bloodbath. All right, guys, we can get on out of here. We're going to cut it short today. Stay safe. Everybody stay safe. And hopefully we'll talk soon. Daniel says, why would you drop for a Finley? Who would you drop for Finley? I'm not going to say that, but I'm just going to tell you. I dropped some people for Cody Finley. Confirmed. All right, guys, we're getting out of here. Stay safe. Do all your preparations, and we'll talk to you soon. Y'all have a good day. Let's go watch some football. Peace out, Girl Scouts.